Our efforts to escape Thalamus' nightmare is, well, it's mostly working out. We're doing a pretty good job, I want to say, aside from the fact that Thalamus just kind of busted in here and has now gotten us kind of back to the resetting start of the dream that we've been going through for the entire game since the tutorial. Could you get this, right?
Could you explain? No, hold on. I'm sorry. So we're in a dream. Like there's been. Could you explain this?
Okay. Yes and no. Like the events that have happened in the game have in fact occurred. Like everything prior, at least to the point where we got into Yilnoth.
Okay, so it's all
of
real
that stuff did in fact happen.
Got it.
But the entire game has been taking place in the dream that is based on events that have actually happened in reality. You know, basically from this point on, we're kind of like going through the entire loop again.
It's all been a dream since Yilnoth, but it's been a dream that is proceeded according to rules that it was plausible. So it's like kind of like a simulation or something.
No. Those events did in fact happen. All the parts where I like beat up the Dark Knight and the Bulwark and everything. Those did in fact happen. It's just everything that's happened in the game is based off of the previous events that happened, and I guess events that could conceivably happen in the future.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. It's all very easy to understand, trust me.
Yeah. So let me just have a comprehension question. So in this game, Thalamus would be like the Dr. Robotnik of this game. Is that right?
He has not been called Dr. Robotnik for at least like 20 years since, I don't know, Sonic Adventure or something. We've always referred to him as Eggman. It's like Robotnik's not even... Everybody loves the name Robotnik. It's not even a good name. It's just like, oh, he makes robots. And Robotnik kind of sounds vaguely Russian, which we were at war with when that game came out.
Doesn't he have robots, though, that he, like, commanders and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, everything in the game is well, everything in quite a few of the games is robots. And then they decide to take, like, this entire different sort of thing where they introduced, like, Jinn and like monsters and stuff for some reason. There were like 3 different games where Ifrits were the final bosses back in the mid 2000s. I don't know what happened.
Is Robotnik Japanese or Russian for Eggman? Like, is that how you say that? Like, is it?
No, not even remotely close. That was just wholesale made up for the game because I guess they didn't like the name Eggman.
Okay. Eggman seems like a perfectly good villain.
He also literally looks like an Eggman.
He's just an egg with feet. Like the principal from Persona 5.
The changes. Hey, so this is actually a very clever thing that the game is doing. You can see that it's almost actually replaying the entirety of the game. Like that start where I met Ione, start where I was rescued by Vrail, the Bulwark. Yeah. Right into I think it's Ariga up next.
Yeah, it's a really clever like narrative thing that they're doing here. Like in the background. Oh, okay, you're just and literally there's like a storytelling technique like recapitulation. You see it in like sonatas where you go through
even like including the the flashback cutscenes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's a reference to
even including Ash being there, which I thought was supposed to be the point where like the time loop kind of was broken, but I guess not.
So are we in the real world right now? This is all happening and it's all real.
No,
right?
This is just like the super crappy busted up version of the dream that the game has been taking place in up to this point.
Oh, okay. So the simulation is breaking down.
Exactly. Through the power of friendship. Mm-hmm. Look, Thalamus, this is a very hokey game, I gotta say. I love it a lot, but it's also very cheesy.
Yeah. I love that this game kind of like, I mean, it's cool, like they put a lot of care into the writing and a lot of the details and stuff, and it's very Dark Souls, and then it also kind of feels like an indie game from like 2011. And it's just like, it straddles that line really well.
Oh, yeah. Once again, it's just like, as we're kind of like rounding off the series, I want to just go back and say, it's just like, man, I really like this game. It is really, really good. Mm-hmm. And would highly recommend anybody that has been watching this series over the many months that has been occurring. I'm sorry about that.
If you had to,
you should play it.
On the Electric Light Orchestra scale from 1 to 9, how would you rate the original game, and then how would you rate this game? Like the full, the expansion with the DLC.
I actually really did like the original game too, but it's like this is clearly, the original game was, I think I described that as one that, like, I enjoyed a lot, but I can understand a lot of people being put off because it was, buggy and janky and whatnot. This game is like, I think anybody can enjoy this. Yeah, this version.
Now it's like
so much more complete.
If you can't enjoy this, then something's wrong with you. Not the game.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. Oh, man. I tell you.
Stop hammer
Well, anyway,
time.
we get like a little bit of a battle arena in between the... Well, I think you can probably take a guess as to who the final boss of the game is going to be. Is there a heroic version of that fight? Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Well... This is
now look. It doesn't compare to Endless. Endless was still just the most like absolutely.
Is it
unquestionably
more or less stages?
The most
Because I think there was 5 stages, right? Was Endless?
No, they cut out the first stage for the heroic version. But they added in one extra stage for the. Clever. They added in one extra stage for the heroic version then too.
By the way, I want to point out this is a really weird thing that happens in games is because of like just normal like budgetary demands. Like you go against yourself, like your own sprite. Like they've already made the sprite for Soren, so they don't have to make a new sprite for Soren to have him confront himself. You know what I mean? But it's like so you can actually it's like that constraint means that you have stories where you face yourself. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, but there's also like story reason for that. The reason that there's like Shadow Soren appearing is because you're trapped in the simulation the entire time.
Oh, of course. I mean, and that's what's so great about it. Is
but like also, no, you're right. He's also like, well, we already do have everything. It's all rendered there and ready to go. And yes, I was speculating on this earlier, and we do have it confirmed. That's why Thalamus likes the Immortals. That was actually something I guessed all the way back in the original series, but it's good to have it confirmed here too. Also, hey, thank God we got the extra 10% because I'm going to need it for the boss.
So, in other words, Thalamus can't feed off Immortal forever. Thalamus can feed off an Immortal forever.
Very temporarily compared to an Immortal. Which, I mean, it was implied also back in the Chamber of Migration that Thalamus was... like, they found the original seed that would eventually turn into the artifact, probably from Thalamus. Like, around some sort of pit that had whispers coming from it. Whispers from the incredibly intelligent teacher that everybody adores.
So is Vrail really dead, or has that not even happened in the real world? Because that was part of the dream that we really know now.
Well, I think the implication here would be that it's like Vrail has certainly been out of commission for quite a while, but I don't think he's dead.
Yeah, that would be a little bit.
If I remember correctly, that it's like for the ending. Yeah.
Yeah, it felt really anticlimactic when Vrail died. Like just Vrail is just
Yeah, just kind of like get back from Yilnoth, and it's like, hey, he's on the ground, super dead there,
and that's the end of Vrail. It's like, no, I don't think, I don't think so.
No, they did, and it's like I said, in the original version of the game, the original non-Afterlife version, he didn't die there. That's was something that they added in for the newer update.
Now, is there a way to?
That's right.
Is there a way to dodge that?
Rail is such a. He's so. This fucking guy just goes full on like. I see you like to play Castlevania. Love. It's such a dope. Like cheesy. I told you it's a hokey game.
Yes.
Hey, you should be watching the series, Thalamus. I know the updates have been very infrequent, but like, you have a real job and I have oh man, you can't even tell you all the and then all the anyway.
Okay.
But yeah. Look, we're getting through it.
This is such a weird.
I mean, it makes some sense because, you know, like I said, they're trying to go through like the entire journey in reverse. You can even see that this is the area that you fought the. This is the area that you fought the Eldritch Inquisitor originally in, and also you can see the Chamber of Migration robot in the background as well, from where you fought Visurge.
Yeah.
I forget Visurge. He's the character that I reference the most out of any of the bosses of Death's Gambit.
Now, was that like struggling to survive, or was that laughing like?
Both.
Okay.
Look, he's been alive for a long time, and also had a lot of other people from Garde Tomb living inside of him.
Okay. Yeah.
He's having a rough time.
By the way, I love the art style in this background. Just like this, like it's just this like pencil drawing. Like this looks like a notebook sketch or something.
Very Yume Nikki.
Yeah,
which is a comparison that I'm going to be making for something else we'll be doing.
Young people have no idea what Yumi Nikki is. They only know things like Omori. That's the
okay, Omori is also hand-drawn.
I don't care how many times I have to face it.
It's like that. And also, Omori does actually have like a lot of references to Yume Nikki. You know, you go through like the red labyrinth maze. He's just up there yucking it up yet again.
I bet.
Well, like, yeah, no. Like Omori does in fact have areas explicitly reference. It's a game that explicitly references its inspiration.
Yes. Also, I would love to know what the artist is who at Adult Swim Studios, and I bet they had a lot of fun. Like, I want to see an interview with them, just asking them. Well, let's talk about the Thalamus animations. No, come on.
Oh, you should see the boss fight.
Oh God, this is so.
Well, you will.
This scene right now with them both like laughing is so freaking ridiculous.
It's so silly. Like I said, it's a hokey game, but you know.
Now, is Thalamus like? Is that his rib cage? Like, it just open like with a void.
Yo, I don't know what's going on with Thalamus.
It seems like he can open his rib cage outwards at will.
And he does constantly. It's his party trick, one of many.
You want to see my ribcage disappear?
It's like, no, Thalamus, please let me out of the nightmare. I'll do it anyway. But anyway, yeah, what were we talking about?
I hear Mommy's voice.
Oh yeah, Yume Nikki.
Yeah, that's a great game, by the way. Just it
is. You know, I usually am not like a huge fan of exploration-based game, but I do like the weird stylings of that.
Well, at the risk of
played like a number of different RPG Maker games on the channel.
Yeah. At the risk of being a little bit pretentious, I would say that is a game that is actually just meant to be played as like a work of art. Like it's barely even a game.
Oh, it's barely a game.
Yeah. It kind of.
Of course, it's just.
Oh, you know what else? Off, that French game. I think that's.
Oh man, I was talking about that recently. Where there's another game that I was looking at playing, Jimmy and the Pulsating Mass, which is another RPG Maker, like actual RPG game, like Off, but way closer. You know, when people say like Earthbound inspired, that game is way more Earthbound inspired than like any other one that I've seen, and also really captures that sort of aesthetic, you know, in a way better than just about anything else that I've played. But much like Off, big sad.
Oh, okay. It seems to be
which
a
is
big
why I'm
theme.
just like, oh, I want to show it off for the channel because I like that game a lot, but also big sad.
Yeah, and I do think like with Undertale, that's the obvious like Earthbound reference. The thing with that is like I always felt like the main inspiration that it drew was like the whimsical sense of humor and stuff, like more than anything else. It was just like the idea that okay, the little monsters aren't like, you know, things that you need to attack. They're little things with flavor text in it. Cute little personalities.
Like there's a lot of levity, a lot of jokiness, the surreal nature of some of the stuff. Whereas like Jimmy, for example, like I was talking about, is that like actually has you hanging out with like your family and like your relationship with your brother and everything like that, and then big sad.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I haven't played Omori, but that was what I gathered from the Discord about that game.
That game, I would actually say, is like a little bit different.
Okay.
Oh, it's
For me,
certainly
this
has
is
like
my
a whimsical
salvation.
style to it, but it's also way more upfront with like what it means.
Okay.
The meaning of it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm gonna have to check that out. I've only started.
I'd recommend checking out that game. I think it's very good. It does. There is a feeling though, of like I've gotten kind of like a fatigue for a lot of those games where they are the cutesy RPG Maker game that turns out to be
It's actually really dark and depressing, and it's about depression.
no, it's never about depression except for Lisa. Lisa's
okay.
like absolutely about depression. But it's like I don't know. I feel like that is a little bit overplayed in some ways. Obviously, there's only like 5 games that people are going to be able to name that are like the really popular ones. But I've seen a lot of like other ones where people like go for the cutesiest anime style. Like, oh, look at this adorable goat boy. Oh, now he's getting stabbed.
Also, yeah, no, it's weird that there's these like I call them like micro genres. Like there's like this. I've played like 3 walking simulator, slash. I don't know what the is that the valid name for it? Like visual novel style 3D games where you walk around that take place in the Pacific Northwest, involve like very specific cutesy twee writing, and you like I've played like 5 games that are like that they all take place in the Pacific Northwest.
I think I can probably think of exactly what you're talking about with a few of those. It's like Pacific Northwest or the or New England
or space named after the Pacific Northwest. That's Tacoma. So.
Yes, there's.
Okay.
I can think of there are a few different like indie games that sort of fall into that. I mean, for God's sake, we're playing very much Dark Souls inspired platformers.
Yes.
Where have you heard that one before?
I've heard that this game was inspired by Dark Souls, but I don't see it.
Yeah. I mean, certainly at this point in the game, not as much.
I do like that, like, you just look at, like, the interface. Like, after I'm saying that, like, I'm looking at the interface, it looks like Dark Souls. Like, look at, like, the items.
Yeah, and by the way, if you saw me just kind of being like, standing there, not really understanding what's happening. No, this is a surprise to me too.
This is a really so. What's going on mechanically with this fight? Like, do you have to
straight up? Thalamus is just annoyed with me, and now he's shooting lasers down this hall.
And there's nothing you can do to dodge, obviously, right? Like, this is not.
You can. Like, okay, so the easiest way to do this, of course, is just hold out the shield. If you do like a perfect parry, you're not pushed back. But if you don't, it takes out a pretty big chunk of stamina, at least for my build, and then. It just really impedes you going. It's either that or take a ton of damage. And guess what the heroic version of this fight has? A harder version of that hallway? You know it. Every single time you want to fight the boss, you know it. It's,
So, my wrath. Okay, Thalamus. Like...
Yeah. That's me.
Like, yeah, I feel like is Thalamus even incapable of wrath, or is he just an all one more joke to him?
It's just I don't even know how. Hi,
Doc. That's your name, right?
It is. Look, we all know this at this point in time. Try to be, speaking of another game that did this, it's an RPG Maker game that's cutesy but also depressing. One Shot. I was very insistent on trying to censor that back in the day, and now I'm just kind of like, all right, whatever, you got me.
Yeah.
There are a number of like you might not know about like every one of those games because only so many of them really get into the yeah speaking of more cutesy blah 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 Earthbound. See, you might have thought, hey, what's up with this conversation? It doesn't really seem to have much of anything to do with the game right now.
Now, is this inspired by Earthbound, or is this Undertale referencing Earthbound?
Okay, you know that Undertale did not do the Gigas thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like...
I'm talking about, like...
Yeah, no, I knew what I was talking about. Yeah. I knew what I was bringing up with this. Oh boy! I mean, it's no surprise. Once again,
Who's giving you this test?
I said before.
Is this Fink giving you this test?
Is what?
Is this Fink giving you this little quiz? Because it's totally like the kinds of questions Fink asks you.
Fink should have appeared in the end game here, by the way. No question.
Oh,
see?
Yep.
We do get like, you know, the I tried
how dare you?
How
dare you? We love Fink. Fink is their hero.
Yeah, shut up. He's my favorite.
Yes, he tried to kill us and
several times. But whatever, I'm immortal. It's fine.
Yeah. And Fink knows that. Fink's cool.
Yeah, he's just fine. But now all we get is like a little bit of text there with that thing. No actual proper appearance by Fink here.
I do love this like weird mechanical thing in the context of like an action RPG. Just like the fact that you don't know where the ground is, but you still have to dodge.
Oh yeah, I mean it is all just like, you know, flat surface.
Obviously,
here we go, baby.
Yeah, like, I mean,
it's
it's not like non-Euclidean geometry. It's just like, okay, it's normal geometry, but it's also like you don't know where the ground is exactly.
I mean,
it's
once again, might be coming up a little bit more later.
Especially in the heroic fight, I would imagine, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
But in different parts.
Okay.
Yep. And the freeze screen. Look at that. I told you they definitely had a lot of fun with the character here.
Yes. The trick is to make every single frame of Thalamus' animation just giddy, so that when your brain mentally processes it, even though it's going too fast for you to see, you're still like getting the image of just somebody in just euphoria.
I think I said that in the last episode that it's like you know, he's definitely the character who I want him in my fighting game based on all the series I've played on the channel. Mm-hmm. But okay, so actual like mechanics in this fight, because there are the souls that Thalamus drops gives you health back, which is pretty useful just in general because they expect you to get hit a lot in this fight. Mm-hmm. The other like tiny souls that exist around here too also drop those. Now we'll be getting a whole lot more stuff happening in the heroic version, but for right now it's at least what you see is what you get. It's a lot of very fast, very difficult to dodge, very enormous like attacks going on here.
Yeah, imagine having a jaw like that and just like eating a chicken, like you know, bone-in chicken leg or something, and just like like just
yeah, pretty much
going to town on it, and then at the end of it you go just all that marrow.
Oh my god.
Like it's probably,
and then it's just like throwing down bombs and everything, very reminiscent of, say, a lot of other heroic fights I fought too. As always, the fire that crawls along the ground, everybody's favorite. I mean, that's like I feel like in these games this is about as iconic as the big guy that jumps on the ground to create earthquakes.
If you had a mouth like that, I bet laughing would be like physically pleasurable.
Thankfully, like I said, this game is largely just so beat Thalamus.
So you beat Robotnik. You saved the world.
I mean, Robotnik, you know, always just kind of like runs away faster than Sonic. Everybody always remember that.
Did we do it?
Hey, it's the David Bowie character. No.
If Thalamus were truly defeated,
But yeah, this is largely like a cutscene fight. No, the heroic fight is the real fight. And it's just like, yeah, of course I'm not gone. Hey. Like, what are you people, stupid?
I love ending cutscenes where you join your crew, like, and they're all alive.
Oh, yeah, I told you, it's really hokey.
Okay.
It is, we are very much doing through the power of friendship here. Make no mistake on that.
Hell yeah. Together we could beat anyone, even Thalamus.
Even the big skeleton.
Even Robotnik.
Robotnik is usually not that hard to defeat. He's just got the Eggmobile is just really, really tanky.
Or whatever.
I can't believe we're talking about Sonic again.
Whatever, BioWizard, whatever. We can still beat him with the power of friendship. It's the same.
The ultimate life form.
It's the same point. It doesn't affect my point.
I mean, we all, BioLizard was actually kind of like the start of the weird, non, big robot final bosses of a lot of those games, wasn't it?
God, look at Thomas just like taking that little like bite, like just nibbling on you.
Oh yeah. He did indeed have that in the previous quote unquote. Once again, you can't actually fight Thalamus, but the real goal here was beating his avatar more than anything else.
So, like,
because that's the one part of him that you can actually beat.
So his pectoral muscles are like shark's mouths, like a shark's mouth, or what?
Like
more like
his collarbone.
Lamprey, I guess. Like just
And then like his, and then the other part of his collarbone is like actually his eyes.
Yeah,
kind of.
Oh, and I guess he's got a C. So I wonder if like his eyes seem a lot more sinister. It's weird because it's like
man, there's actually like lore stuff related to that might come up a little bit later.
Okay.
Lore stuff.
I'm glad this just idle speculation about what it would be like to have a big mouth is helpful to this.
No, Thalamus's eyes, because they get an item called Thalamus Eye later for, well, the purpose of going into New Game Plus. But we'll talk about that
He's still
afterwards.
Oh man, his mouth is so weird now.
Yeah, I didn't really get to see that too well in the previous time we saw him, but it's like he's gross.
Like
he's a gross guy.
Like I know I'm focusing on this a lot, but it's like it is unsettling, and it does feel it just fits. It's of a piece with the wackiness of this game as a whole. Just
and once again, Thalamus, his entire character is basically being a huge troll, more or less. God, I love Thalamus. He is unquestionably my favorite character again.
Oh yeah. He's like a superstar.
It's like, and he takes quite a while to actually appear in the game too. Especially because it's like, once again, do I have to explain like the simulation?
Was he in the original game before Afterlife?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But it's just like aside from him. Aside from the Ilnath section, and then the part where he appeared in the background during the end.
I see. So they turned him into a central character in the Afterlife.
I think the plan was always that he was supposed to be a central character, but maybe they just like couldn't figure.
And then okay.
He's a giant troll. Shut up, Thalamus. You really think I'm gonna fall for this at this point?
I love this. This is such a wacky just.
Oh, I didn't even like show you some of like one of the attempts that I had where it's just like his on killing you, his death quote is turn off your console. It's like no, they knew what they were doing. It's like the idea that Thalamus's like final attack is to try to get you to go into New Game Plus. Can't end the game if you just start up a new one. And it's like that's supposed to be like a diegetic thing. But anyway,
I like that because it makes it seem like we've already he's addressing you, Doc, as opposed to Soren.
Oh yeah, the Observer, as I'm known.
The Nomad Soul.
Once again, hardly the first time I've seen that in this game. We talked about Off, we talked about One Shot, we talked about like a lot of stuff.
And I keep alluding to Omicron.
Omicron and One Shot both had my computer being used as a soul portal. Once again, it's it is. It's not an uncommon thing in a lot of games.
Well, they'll be dead soon enough.
Hey, who goes there?
No, you didn't have to kill him.
Soren! Be still a moment.
Mother?
Hey, and at this point in time, Soren actually has a voice.
Shackles are the last
Wow.
thing holding you back.
That's right.
That's the first time Soren's talked the whole game.
Well, it's obviously not the first time Soren's talked, but it's the first time Soren has actually had voice
Yeah,
acting.
that's what I meant. Okay, yeah, nice.
Then all the others.
Cyrodiil should be stirring with the Waking yawns of every
Hooray! And even Endless is still alive, even though, you know... Yo, do we have to, like, go bring up, like, all the shit Endless has done? I mean, remember, like, what you did to Ione?
Take a look outside.
I know we're all about forgive and forget, but it's like,
Everyone can live in peace now. Endless.
well...
I didn't even realize that was...
Okay, so yeah, Vados is the kingdom that Soren and Endless
okay, so
originally
Vados
came from, and
And it's being invaded.
So Vados isn't in great shape, but what about the rest? All the other areas are gonna be just fine.
Not after everything.
once again, the dream was actually based on like actual events that did happen.
That is so confusing. Like I mean, that was why we started with this. It is like, oh, it's based on a dream, but the dream was also kind of happening. It just
Look,
it just wasn't.
yes, the game does take place in a dream, but the dream is based on real events.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I think simulation is the best way to
Look,
put it.
it's
as you were saying
the
before.
Matrix, but there's a different.
It's the Matrix, but if like the world actually looked like 1999. Hi, Thalamus.
Except it was
You can't just defeat Thalamus. He's like a god.
yeah.
But yeah, it's like the Matrix if the world still looked like 1999 outside of the Matrix.
It's the Matrix with 1997 graphics.
Try as you might. We've defeated you once. We'll do it again.
Yeah, and this time we're not in the fucking nightmare, so like it could actually work. Oh, hey, Ash. Hello. I guess Ash is going to actually get like a proper boss fight in an update that they're going to do eventually.
Now that's
Because obviously, as of right now, he never really got like a true boss fight, despite doing the whole like, you know, ending, this ending.
You challenge one of us.
Yeah.
Fight all of
you
us.
mess with one of us, you mess with all of us. This is New York.
And Jocko, who just has a hot air balloon in his shop for some reason. By the way, I do believe that in this version of the game, Jocko is dead, so...
They can fly now.
White Rabbit, fix your game.
Fly now.
Hey! This thing can fly now!
We followed the horde.
And
Your
this is
mighty
where an error with the voice lines happened, and they got desynced. So they're doing the wrong voice lines.
It is. I love that, like, the power of friendship. Like, it's happened like 3 or 4 times where everybody's come back. Everybody come in. Let's all get together. Let's beat.
Bring it in, boys. It's the ending.
Again, I thought we just beat him. It's like, well, no, that was in a dream.
He's like literally a god. You can't just defeat him.
Yeah. That was a dream. It was a dream based on real events, but it was a dream nonetheless. This is the real world. It's not a dream.
It's not a dream, but you're still not going to be able to beat Thalamus.
But it was just
It's
a.
like this is a hollow sort of fight that we're doing here.
So if it was a dream last time, so we could have lost and it would have been fine. No, we still have to win in the dream. It's not that kind of a dream. It
By the way, yes, Dragon Ball.
not why.
Well, you don't breathe. You're like undead or something.
Yeah, and not why I still breathe. I don't know if that's like, yeah, if he kills me, if with that giant bomb, like, yeah.
I don't know. You're immortal. I don't know if you can survive like a literal disintegration.
Whatever you're planning,
Teleport him away at the last second. Yeah, that's right.
I can't risk losing you again.
Zoran,
This is the only
have you not paid attention to the rest of the game?
Soren. This is going to work. It has to.
I love how elaborate these cinematic like fights are. Just like, okay.
Well, elaborate, and then you actually like look at the bomb, and it's clearly just one sprite that's blown up really large.
Yeah.
And right in there, chaos dunk.
Maria. Oh,
Actually, yeah, that too.
I was just. That's just meant to be a callback. It wasn't meant to be a little.
Feels like fighting for
Look, I think this is one thing that we've learned during these episodes is that we both played video games before.
Yeah, no, I just like that they just do this like maximally wacky, just at every turn.
It's some good stuff.
So Thalamus is dead now, right? We're done with Thalamus.
No,
Oh.
you can't kill Thalamus.
Oh.
So promise me. You'll live to see a new dawn.
So, hey Ash, how's it going? I guess we'll be roommates now.
Go back to the house.
What will you
Like, what is he gonna go back to Thalamus' dream?
free from my service?
Everly would want me to find my own way.
So this is like a montage then?
Oh yeah, this is your like, where are they now?
Yeah.
Go play whatever the end
Free
of
from the obligations of the
Caddyshack, that song.
I suppose she would.
What was it?
I don't remember.
I don't
I
remember
think
either.
was that Caddyshack or was that Animal House? Or no, it was both because it's
Probably both.
yeah, probably
I think.
both.
You thought hunting
You already
Of
took
course, we get more usage of this.
you already took up cooking. It's not you can't just
Yeah, well, now we're doing it again.
you exceeded
I've decided to get into cooking. Well, yeah, I know. I know you like cooking. You've established that. You've already been
carry Everly's light with you.
Ah, and he didn't even take up the offer to become roommates. Come on, Ash.
Even you will pass it on.
You can't live in that house forever. Actually, you can because, you know, dreams.
Magic.
I'm gonna have to come back to the game and check out it when they add him in his proper boss fight.
Yeah.
There is also another route of the game, of course, if you join up with Thalamus. So,
Yeah, Thalamus does seem like a good guy, so that probably is a good idea.
from what people told me in the comments, apparently if your will, as you remember, that's a thing in the game. If that was like 100, then you automatically join up with him
Now,
because his will over you grows with time.
Now, is this another Thalamus trick? Is this the
No,
real
surprisingly not.
place? Okay.
Enough not. Or is it? No, it's not.
That-
Or is it? How can you ever be truly sure you're out of the simulation?
Yes.
No.
These are real people in the real world.
I mean, yeah, that's true too. It's one of those things where it's just like, well, are they in the real world? It's like, well, no, they never were. It's a story in a video game.
Well, that kind of breaks.
But I guess we'll just have to say, I don't know, maybe whatever.
Well, they call-
live life. Life is what you make.
Well, they used your name, so they must be real in this world.
Ugh. Damn it. Damn it, Thalamus. Quit doxing me. I did not know when I started this channel that there were going to be so many games looking at my computer name. How could I know that?
And there's one more person.
Is it me?
I'll take that soul fragment back now.
I mean, the answer is yes, but
Thank you for guiding.
and you for playing.
You for playing the Gambit of Death.
Da 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 da.
Soren,
It's a Super Mario World ending.
Ione,
Oh, okay.
what's the matter?
the source may be destroyed, but Vardos yet lies in ruin.
Of course
and
he
Gambit
is.
Still out there.
Let him lick his wounds. He's far beyond our reach.
You don't think he'll be back?
Oh no, he super will.
We have lived under the shadow of his influence for too long.
Oh, sorry. You know what a good ending song would be? That song from like the 50s. Enjoy yourself. It's later than you think, because it's death.
Okay then.
I don't know. That's just.
Well, the September of my years.
That's I guess if you're into 1960, that's 1949 songs, then you probably. You probably
still had
appreciate
like
that.
30 years left in his thing, in his career. Yep. Speaking of like old school like Super Nintendo games.
This is great. I love this.
We did it, everybody. We finally beat Death's Gambit. For real this time.
It's the end.
Oh no, we're back in Cogmind.
What's up with this Matrix ass?
Dude, that was a thing.
I know.
That was how we ended the previous episode.
I remember that. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Yes.
However, let's do it, baby. Oh my god. Okay. I told you to start with. There's like the super hard version of this. And it's like every single time I block this, even with the good shield that I'm using right now, it does break. I got to get like a perfect parry for it to not go through the full like shield break animation, which is not the easiest thing to do. But of course, you might notice right now in the bottom right corner that I ain't got no healing. Why? Well, it's wait, how many that's 81? Yeah, sounds about right.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Not as bad. Still pretty bad. Upper right corner, healing memory stolen. That means that you do not remember how to heal. Whatever. Look, you can't heal in this fight. Now, that doesn't mean that there is no healing in this fight. Getting the souls will still heal you a little bit as it does in the proper battle, but this is not nearly as much of a cutscene focused one comparatively. Thalamus obviously has like a lot more buffed up attacks, as you can see from like that one, and the way he's throwing out the lasers. He's throwing out the lasers with during the normal just like melee phase too, which is pretty great. But at the same time, we also do get another very fun new mechanic that happens here as well. One of the souls that gets dropped from either the ghosts or Thalamus that you are fighting here, I think specifically the red ones that you see right now, that one makes you invincible for 4 seconds, which is pretty handy. However, the consistency with how often that comes up is not really something you can rely on unless you leave the souls on the ground for like future usage. However, they do also heal you, so it is usually a good idea to grab them ASAP, depending on how you're doing it. Obviously, as much like the previous fight, if you get enough souls, you get like big damage reduction, but once again, it's hard to rely on that, and I just end up grabbing as many of the souls as possible for healing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a fun thing. He does have the gigantic spirit bomb attack, much like in the end cutscene, and that is an instant death, no matter where you are, unless you have the invincibility buff.
Wow.
So you have to plan out how you're gathering the souls, because otherwise, that is just like instant killing.
And also, that is such a silly detail, and this battle is somehow even sillier than in the base game. Like, this is just...
Oh, yeah, he's doing stuff like summoning up bosses just to like, irritate you. Like I said, he gets the cutscene ability as, like, one of his normal abilities during this fight.
He's having so much fun. You can just tell.
He's still having a lot of fun, though. That's true. Obviously, one of the big things that has helped out just a ton in this fight is the Fallen Angel's Thesis, the aura that I got for beating Endless, because that means that I can continuously nail him with the light arrow, because I'm constantly gaining back soul energy. If you didn't have this fight would be... It's really hard to get hits in on Thalamus to actually build up your soul meter.
It's not pronounced thesis. When you're referring to something that is owned by an angel, it's actually a theasis.
Is that actually true?
No, I'm referencing Evangelion.
Because that might actually be true for all I know.
It's in the theme song to Evangelion. It's Cruel Angel's thesis.
Oh, okay.
Zyunko, Gunatenshina, Teasis.
Cruel Angels, Theasis.
Yes.
And hey, you do actually get to fight Ash, at least in one form here. It's just needless to say, it's very unfinished. He just kind of stands there and shoots bullets at you. Oh, so yeah, by the way, if you just think that's like, hey, I'm just going to leave a bunch of souls on the ground for when I actually need to use them or need to heal, Thalamus does eventually suck them all back up into him, so you can't leave them down there for too long, basically. It's a good strategy, though, mostly. Bulwark yet again. This whole attack yet again, which is pretty hard to dodge. And Bulwark, much like in his heroic version, he does lower your defense if he hits you with that attack. It's a lot of stuff going on here.
I think one of the reasons,
tell.
I mean, yeah, Thalamus' character design is obviously unsettling, but one of the reasons it's unsettling is because you just forget about those eyes for a long time. Like, you could completely, like, you know, you could be focusing on his face because that's obviously.
Oh yeah, I had a lot of time
Good.
to check that out in the background.
Mhm.
Actually, wait, what did getting souls get you? I completely forgot. I thought it was a lot of damage reduction. I don't think it is. I think that's just me using the one ability there. I don't remember. Hey, this thing you might remember from the opening cutscene, where it's like when they're talking about Cyrodiil being protected by an exiled god, they showed like this purple eyeball.
Yeah.
Well, now this definitely does clinch it that yes, they are talking about that.
Yeah, it is amazing how they reuse assets in a way that never feels like really cheap at all. It really feels like, okay, they're doing this in a way that feels like it's a callback. Like if you're paying attention, you notice it, but it doesn't feel like, oh, okay, well they're just reusing that because they don't want to have to redraw something.
There are a surprising amount of assets that just exist purely in the heroic gameplay alone.
Yeah.
It's like this is entirely optional stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So yes, all the little summoned ghosty dudes there do leave bombs that if you run into them will do a ton of damage to you, in addition to having like the skill required barriers to break through at the same time as well. And there, last second grabbing that, virtually no health left, and I beat him.
Nice.
Holy Christ, what a fight. Not as hard as Endless, but man, that's a rough one.